I still remember the morning I opened my bank app to see a notification. Bonus posted $12,000. My heart raced. 6 months of late nights, weekend PowerPoint marathons, figure tuning in the marketing department had finally paid off. I'd been proud of myself since starting out as a junior analyst 2 years ago. That bonus meant more than extra cash. It was proof I mattered. I texted my parents first. "Hey mom, dad, just saw my bonus hit. Can't wait to celebrate this weekend." Their reply was almost immediate. "Mom, congratulations, sweetheart. We're so proud. Let's do dinner Saturday?" I smiled, set my phone down, and imagined the extra bills I could pay off: my student loan, the dentist appointment I'd been postponing, a new laptop. Then I remembered my brother Sam, sleeping on my couch again. He'd lost his job last month and had me as a soft landing, but he owed rent, his car payments, and worse, credit card debt that I knew was snowballing. I decided to surprise him with a little bailout. I called him. "Sam, I got the bonus today. Let me cover your rent for 2 months, and I'll chip in for your credit cards." He mumbled something unintelligible. "What? Hey, I'm helping you." He cut me off. "No, Em, I can't take that. You earned that money yourself." His voice cracked. "I'll figure it out." I pressed. "You've got to let me help. You never asked to crash here. Your family." He sighed, and I heard the exhale of defeat. "Okay, thanks." I hung up feeling good. That evening, I drafted transfers $4,000 to my landlord for Sam's rent, $3,000 to his credit cards, and set aside $2,000 for his car loan. I still had $3,000 to breathe. It felt right. Saturday, I arrived at my parents' house, an old bungalow with a white picket fence and flower beds my mother tended. Inside, Mom was juggling a lemon tart, and Dad nervously leafed through the Sunday paper. "Bonus?" Dad asked, looking up. He'd always been more stoic about money. His salt and pepper hair bristled with curiosity. I beamed. "Yes, the company says I'm doing a great job." Mom dropped the tart onto the kitchen island. "That's wonderful, dear." She hugged me. "We're so proud." Dad set aside his paper. "You know, Emma, there's a family emergency," he said casually, like talking about the weather. I frowned. "Family emergency?" Mom nodded, softer. "Your brother, I hate to ask this, but Sam's hit a rough patch. We need to help him with his mortgage payment." My hands stilled. "Mortgage? He didn't buy a house. He lives with me." Dad gave a half smile. "Well, he refinanced your grandmother's house. He thought he could manage it, but he miscalculated the adjustable rate. He's 2 payments behind, and now the bank's threatening foreclosure." My stomach dropped. "He did what?" Mom clutched her pearls. "He used the house as collateral for a small business loan. He's lost that startup money, and now," her voice cracked, "the bank says they'll start eviction proceedings in 30 days. I paced. "So you want me to give you my bonus?" "All of it?" Dad nodded. "We thought, since you earned it." I stopped. "You thought I'd bail him out?" My voice shook. "After he moved in and blew his rent money on stupid investments?" Mom's eyes filled. "Emma, he's your brother." I bit back tears. "I am not responsible for his decisions. I worked hard for that bonus. He had 2 months to ask for help, and he chose to gamble everything instead." Dad expired a sad breath. "We're not asking, you're helping. The family needs to stick together." I shook my head. "I'm sorry. This is my money. I'm not giving it up." Dad's face tightened. "You're being selfish." I felt rage burn up my throat. "I'm being responsible." Mom put a hand on Dad's arm. "Maybe we shouldn't push her," but Dad wouldn't let go. "You let us down, Emma." He turned away, voice cold. I expected better. I spun on my heel, storming out. "Fine," I said over my shoulder. "I'll be in touch." That night, I slept on my couch, restless. My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. "Collection agency." My heart sank. I answered. "Miss Thompson? This is Rachel Pierce from National Lien Collections. We represent Fifth Corner Bank. I'm calling regarding an outstanding mortgage debt on property at 45 Crestwood Avenue." My pulse quickened. "That's my grandmother's old house." "Yes, the loan is in default. Unless satisfactory payment is made, foreclosure proceedings will commence within 30 days. I closed my eyes. "I know. Your parents are the listed guarantors," she said. "We've attempted to contact them without success. We'll be initiating collections actions shortly." I realized then my parents had given my siblings' debts priority over honesty with me. They'd let the debt slide until a collector called, and now they expected me to fix it. I sat there, the phone pressed to my ear, as the agent rattled off legal jargon. When she hung up, I felt something shift, a resolve sharpen like steel. I would not let my parents' schemes or my brother's recklessness destroy what I'd built. If they wanted my bonus, they could come find me. But first, I needed a plan. I needed leverage. I needed the next move in this family chess game to be mine. Because if my parents thought they could take my bonus and force me to salvage Sam's mistakes, they were in for the surprise of their lives. And as the dawn crept through my curtains, I knew exactly where to start. I spent the rest of that cold night drafting my strategy. As dawn broke over the city skyline, I had a plan. If my parents and brother wanted my bonus that badly, I'd give it to them on my terms, terms that protected me and forced them to face the consequences of their own decisions. First, I needed hard information. I called Fifth Corner Bank at 7 a.m. A groggy voice answered. Fifth Corner Bank, the rep mumbled. Hi, I'm Emma Thompson, I said firmly. I need full details on the loan for 45 Crestwood Avenue, including the original principal, outstanding balance, interest rate, and guarantor details. There was a pause. Okay, Miss Thompson, the rep replied. I'll transfer you to our lending department. 20 minutes later, I was on the line with Linda Forbes, a patient loan specialist, who walked me through the numbers. The original mortgage was $220,000. Refinanced plus a $50,000 personal loan for Sam's business venture. Total debt $270,000. Interest was adjustable at prime plus 2% and had reset at a higher rate, ballooning the payments. Fees and late charges added another $8,000. The total due $278,450. Foreclosure proceedings would begin in 15 days unless full payment or a satisfactory modification plan was in place. That loan is secured by the property and guaranteed by your parents. Linda reminded me. Unless we receive payment or a modification request, we'll proceed. I hung up and exhaled. My bonus was $12,000, far short of the $278,450 needed. If I simply gave them the bonus, the house would still be at risk. But I could use that bonus as leverage to force my parents to deal honestly. Here was the plan. I would agree to a partial payoff of $12,000, but only if my parents signed a sworn statement acknowledging their responsibility for the remainder and consenting to my taking over loan negotiations and property decisions. Meanwhile, I'd secure a personal line of credit to cover the rest, then renegotiate or refinance the debt on more favorable terms, splitting the obligation with Sam so he finally took responsibility. By noon, I drafted an email to Mom and Dad. Subject: foreclosure loan payoff terms. Dear Mom and Dad, I spoke with Fifth Corner Bank this morning. The total amount due is $278,450. I am willing to advance my bonus of $12,000 toward this debt on one condition: you both must sign and notarize the enclosed agreement, acknowledging your primary guarantor status and granting me authority to negotiate a loan modification or refinancing plan on behalf of all guarantors. This will protect the family home and ensure a fair resolution. I will initiate the transfer upon receipt of the signed agreement by 5 p.m. tomorrow. Love, Emma. I attached a draft agreement, drafted with guidance from a lawyer friend, outlining the terms, acknowledgement of debt and guarantor, liability transfer of negotiating authority, to me agreement that any credit line or refinancing I secure would be in all guarantors' names. Sam's commitment to contribute 30% of his earnings toward loan repayment until fully paid. I hit send and felt a surge of control. For the first time since my bonus posted, I was steering the family's crisis. Within 2 hours, Mom replied, Emma, we don't know about this legalese. We'll call you. Mom. By afternoon, Dad called on my phone. He sounded weary but subdued. Emma, he began, voice low. I saw your email. We'll sign. I withheld relief. Thank you. But I need you both to read the agreement carefully. If you have questions, let me know now. Once it's signed and you return it to me, I'll wire the funds. He swore he'd read it and signed by the evening. I heard Mom's voice in the background, quieter. We have to do this. Then he hung up. At 6 p.m., an email arrived with a scanned, notarized copy of the signed agreement and an 8-page summary of amendments in red pen scribbled over mine. I opened it to find my parents' additions. They wanted to change the voting rights on the property, exclude Sam from voting, add a clause precluding me from exercising undue influence, and cap their liability. They'd effectively gutted the agreement. I realized I needed a face-to-face. I called Dad immediately. Meet me at your office tomorrow at 10 a.m., I said. No games. He hesitated, then agreed. The next morning, I met them at Dad's law firm, a brownstone converted into offices. The receptionist knew me by name. I followed Dad into a large conference room, Mom at his side. My lawyer friend Greg was already there, arms folded, and Linda Forbes joined us by phone to confirm the payoff plan. I laid my phone with the wire transfer authorization on the table. Dad cleared his throat. Emma, we never intended to take advantage of you. Then don't. I slid the amended agreement across. This isn't what I sent. You rewrote it to protect yourselves, leaving me liable and powerless. We need the original terms. Mom bit her lip. We're scared, Em. This house, our home, everything is there. It'll be safe, I said. But you have to trust me. Sign the original agreement. I'll transfer $12,000 right now to stop foreclosure. I looked at Greg, who nodded. Dad's jaw tightened. He glanced at Mom. Then he took a pen and signed. His signature shaky, the acknowledgement of debt, the transfer of negotiation power, Sam's commitment. Mom followed suit. I felt the tension roll off me. I tapped the wire transfer on my phone. $12,000 to Fifth Corner Bank's escrow account for immediate credit. Linda confirmed on speaker. Payment received. You have until tomorrow to finalize modification. Dad exhaled. Thank you, he whispered. No, I said. Thank you for doing the right thing. Over the next 2 weeks, I dove into refinancing talks. I reconnected with my financial advisor, Maria, who vouched for my creditworthiness. We secured a personal line of credit at prime plus 0.5%, enough to cover the $266,450 balance. Meanwhile, Sam began sending me his bank statements weekly, along with a schedule matching his income to repayment percentages. Mom and Dad stopped micromanaging. They emailed me account statements, property taxes, and insurance details. At the final meeting with Fifth Corner's restructuring department, I presented our plan. The line of credit would be used to pay off the loan immediately. Then we'd refinance through a community development bank at a fixed rate of 3.0%. All guarantors, my parents Sam and I, would sign a deed of trust, and Sam's lien on the business filing would be subordinated. Fifth Corner agreed, impressed by the prompt action. Foreclosure was withdrawn that day. I exhaled on the ride home. As I drove past my old apartment building, I realized the house was saved, and so was my relationship with my family, though only because I forced accountability. That Saturday, they organized a family dinner at Mom's roasted chicken, my favorite potato gratin, her lemon tart. I walked in and hugged everyone. Sam looked sheepish. Dad shook my hand firmly. Mom began, voice wavering. Emma, I'm so sorry we put you through this. I smiled gently. I'm sorry you were scared, but next time call me first. Sam sat forward. Emma, I thank you. I promise I'll pay my share. I know you saved the house. I nodded. This isn't a handout, it's a loan. I'll draft a repayment schedule for you. He exhaled, relief in his eyes. Deal. During dinner, I asked Dad about the business he'd hinted at refinancing the house to fund. He looked at Mom, then me. I'm launching a small consulting practice, but I needed that equity freed up. I panicked when Sam defaulted. That honesty felt like a balm. You don't have to pay me, I said. We'll work out a payment plan, interest-free. Mom shook her head, tears in her eyes. We owe you. I reached for her hand. We're family, we help each other, but we do it right. In the weeks that followed, Sam moved into a studio closer to his new barista job. He mailed me $500 every paycheck on time, with thank you notes. Dad's consulting practice began to pick up steam. Mom offered to handle his bookkeeping. I set up an automated repayment schedule through my bank, so I could track Sam's contributions and ensure the line of credit was paid down. On New Year's Eve, we gathered back at Mom's house. The living room glowed with string lights. Mom pulled out the lemon tart and lit sparklers. Dad brought out a bottle of champagne. We toasted to family, Mom said. To responsibility, Dad added. To shared victories, Sam said. And to knowing when to stand up, I finished, raising my glass. I saw in their faces a deeper respect, a realization that love isn't just giving in, but trusting one another enough to face tough truths. My parents had tried to shield me, but learned that real help means confronting problems head-on. My brother learned that I wasn't a bank. I was his sister, but also his partner in accountability. And as the countdown reached 0 and fireworks lit the sky, I felt a profound gratitude, because sometimes the biggest surprises come not from collection agencies, but from discovering the strength we have to protect each other and ourselves when it matters most.